Hellions, I'm frustrated. Something is driving me crazy, and we need to talk about it today. And a lot of you guys that have been collecting Pokemon cards for a long time probably know exactly what I'm talking about by the title and everything. That's the term near mint and how it pertains to certain online retailers like TrollToad and TCGPlayer. Now, I have kind of learned over the last few months since the beginning of the year, especially when Shining Fates came out, that sometimes it's just better to buy the chase card you're opening packs for instead of spending $800 on Shining Fates packs trying to get the Charizard and you never do. And I know a lot of people enjoy the chase, enjoy opening packs and all that stuff, but if you're looking at it from a cost perspective, if you're trying to save your money and still collect the cards, probably better in the long run to buy a lot of these chase cards that you're opening all these packs for. Now, the problem you run into a lot of times is when you're going to buy these places, where are you going to buy them from? Now, there's obviously places like eBay and Mercari, two places that I would suggest you go first before going to TrollToad and TCGPlayer. But there's also TrollToad and TCGPlayer, which are probably the two most popular singles and sealed product places to buy stuff online. But the problem that I've run into is in searching for these cards and looking for cards and buying them from these places is the highest, level of condition that they give you is near mint. Now, that can be kind of confusing, especially for someone who grades cards. Near mint is a PSA 7 or higher, right? And a PSA 7, if you look at some PSA 7s, PSA 7s can have quite a bit of wear. That's why they are a PSA 7. They can have whitening, scratches everywhere. A PSA 7 is still a decent looking card, but it's not what at least TCGPlayer considers near mint. Now, obviously, PSA and grading cards and stuff, you have a tier of, gem mint, mint, near mint, excellent. It goes all the way down, fair, I think. And so that is very different, though, than what you'll find on TrollToad and TCGPlayer. They both have near mint, but as you go down, it's near mint, lightly played, moderately played, damaged. So it's a different scale, but they both use the same word near the top, which I think provides a little bit of confusion for people who are trying to sell things on here. They might look at a card and say, hey, I think this will get a PSA 7, so I'm going to list it as near mint. When TCGPlayer specifically outlines what they say a near mint copy should look like. As you can see right here, TCGPlayer has a condition guideline. Like when you post a card for sale on TCGPlayer, this is the guide in which you should look at to see if your card qualifies for near mint, light play, moderate play, all that stuff. So let's take a look at what they post for near mint and near mint holofoil. Now, cards in near mint condition show minimal to no wear from shuffling, play, or handling, can have a nearly unmarked surface, crisp corners, and unblemished edges outside of a few minor flaws. A near mint card may have a tiny edge nick or a tiny scratch or two, but overall look nearly unplayed with no major defects or flaws. The acceptable range of cards with a near mint condition include both cards with no imperfections and cards with few minor imperfections. So basically what they're saying is a near mint, if you post a near mint card on TCGPlayer, it should be pack fresh or have minor imperfections to the edges or corners. Minor imperfections. Maybe a small scratch, maybe a little bit of whitening. And that makes sense. Totally makes sense for near mint. Now let's take a look at near mint holofoils. On foil cards, wear and blemishes are more easily noticed. As a result, grading near mint foils is fairly simple. They can't have any scratches, clouding, print defects, or visible damage or marks. Near mint holofoils are nearly pristine cards because it's the most scrutinized card condition. Okay, so near mint holofoils should not have any holofoil scratches. It should basically be just a beautiful holofoil with maybe minor, maybe like one scratch, one print line, something like that. But on this description, it's basically saying these holofoils should be pristine, should be perfect. Now, we're going to take a look. This card is currently listed on TCGPlayer, and thankfully, TCGPlayer allows you to post photos of the cards. So some very minor, 10% maybe, 5% of the people who actually post cards on TCGPlayer post pictures of the specific card. And I understand why. A lot of these places are businesses and they have more than one copy of a card, and there's no way for them to, post pictures of 20 different cards. I totally understand that. But if you're a single seller and you have one or two of the card, like, post some pictures, because people like me won't buy from people who don't put pictures on. I just won't, because I cannot trust it. So I've bought the gamut. I've bought from people who are new. I've bought from people who have a business and there's so many cards and everything, and all of them show up. Most of them show up not in near mint condition. So we're going to take a look at, I've been looking at this card. I think it's a cool card. It's a promo card. It's a Suicune promo card from Heart Gold Soul Silver. So I think that this card is really cool. I really like Suicune a lot. I've been looking at trying to find one of these in near mint condition. Remember what it said about near mint condition as pertains to holos. Near mint condition as pertaining to holos, they should not have significant holo scratching on them. Thankfully, this person posted a picture, and we can see that not only does the holofoil have scratches, it might be hard to see, but there's scratches up here. They might have better photos. There's scratches all up the side here. I think these cards in particular are fairly hard to keep scratchless because of the way that their holofoil is. But you can also see pretty major whitening. I mean, and you see scratches all across the back. Scuffs and scratches everywhere. All across the back of the card. And, whitening around the edges. Pretty significant whitening. Every single corner. The top, the side, the edges, all of that. On top of that, not only do you have whitening everywhere, do you have scratches everywhere, you also have these dings. So this card probably came in a tin in which it was held by the two nubs, which is probably why this has a fairly low pop of PSA 10, is because of that reason, because those nubs tend to leave little indents and imprints, and I'm pretty sure that that would destroy any chance of grading this particular card, and should destroy any chance of anyone posting this as near mint, in my opinion. You let me know in the comments below if you bought this from a seller that didn't have photos and they sent you this card as near mint. Would you be happy with that? Now, I've had pretty bad experience with TCGPlayer up until this point, and so I decided to try TrollToad because they're kind of the two different ones. I decided, okay, I've had kind of a bad experience with this one, so I'm going to try TrollToad. So I actually reached out to a seller that was selling on TrollToad because I didn't fully understand how it worked on TrollToad. I thought it was like TCGPlayer where the seller is selling the card individually to you. Now, that's not how it works on TrollToad. And actually, hearing how it actually worked on TrollToad, I thought that I was going to have better luck on TrollToad than TCGPlayer. So here's apparently how it works on TrollToad. I sent him a message basically saying like, hey, you have a lot of good prices here on TrollToad. I'm looking at buying some of these cards. Are you actually selling these near mint? Like, is near mint the actual way that you're selling these cards? Or I just want to make sure that I'm not receiving a light play or moderate play card, basically, if I'm going to buy near mint. And he says that all cards listed on TrollToad are actually at TrollToad's warehouse. They maintain the cards, choose condition, pack and ship the cards once it sells. So to me, that was actually pretty good news, because if you think about it, that should be pretty good. If a company is receiving all of the cards and then they have a rubric for what near mint should be for their company, and they're applying that rubric to every card, then it should be a fairly consistent across the board. Every near mint card you buy there should be a fairly consistent condition, right? Because if you have one group of people determining condition and not all individual sellers are determining their own condition, then you should be able to trust it a little bit more than trusting the individual sellers. Unfortunately, that's not the case. I wish it was the case. It's not the case, because I received 2 cards. I after hearing that, I was like, all right, I'm going to try it. I'm going to purchase 2 cards from TrollToad, see how it goes. I purchased 2 cards. One of them was a Pikachu full art card from Generations. I'm really into Generations at the minute. If you guys can, I think Generations is a really cool set, especially the Radiant collection. There was a Pikachu full art card from Generations, and it looked really nice. It did have a little bit of whitening, but overall the card was super clean, and it looked really good. It was the first one that I pulled out of the envelope, so I was like, all right, this isn't bad. This is fine. I mean, this looks pretty near mint to me. And then I pulled the second card out. And the second card was this Charizard. And as you can see, the holofoil is just destroyed. There's scratches everywhere. Not only on the holofoil, there's scratches on the actual front of the card itself, on Charizard's wings. It's so scratched. It's like, I don't know. I know TrollToad is a different company. They might have different guidelines or rubrics for near mint than TCGPlayer does, but by TCGPlayer standards, this would be nowhere near mint. It also had significant whitening around the corners and edges, as you can see, all the way around, and the entire back of the card was pretty scratched. So it's basically looked like someone took the card out to like a gravel parking lot and just scraped it on the back and then scraped it on the front and then sold it on TrollToad. And somehow TrollToad took this card and said this is near mint when they have light play and moderate play as options. It just blows my mind. What do you get if you buy a light play card from TrollToad? Is it bent in half? Like, I don't understand. So it just blew my mind that I could get a card that is near mint in such good condition, and then I can get a card that's so light to moderate play. I don't understand. Maybe it's me. Maybe this is near mint, and I just don't understand near mint. And that's kind of why I'm making this video. It's like, how do you guys, when you guys go to TrollToad and TCGPlayer and buy a card in near mint, how do you guys think the card is going to show up? Do you think it's going to show up like this because you expect near mint cards to show up like this? Or do you think it's going to show up looking near mint, like looking decent, looking like a good card? This was the other card that I got from them, and this was near mint. And this is great. There's no scratches on the holofoil. There's no, whitening on the front of the card. And if I showed the back of the card, which I don't, but if I showed the back of the card, it's very little, minimal whitening on the back of the card and hardly any scratches. That's the range that TrollToad has for near mint. It can be completely destroyed or it could look beautiful. And I just don't understand that, man. I don't understand that. And I don't understand how, as a company like TrollToad, where they're receiving all the cards and they're putting the condition descriptions on all the cards, how can it be that big of a gap? Especially when you have light play and moderate play as other options on your site. Like, how can that be that big of a range in condition? It's crazy. So yeah, guys, I don't know. That's all I got for you today. Just a little rant about, what near mint actually is, or what near mint should be, or how I understand near mint. Maybe I understand it wrong. Let me know in the comments below if I just understand it wrong and that Charizard that I showed you is near mint or is what you would consider near mint. What I will say is that personally, I will only be buying on Mercari and eBay from now on, because those are the only places in which you can actually find cards with pictures and you can actually get a good idea of the condition before you buy the cards. In my opinion, I would not buy a card going forward that I haven't seen, because buying a card that you haven't seen is basically like opening a pack and hoping for a chase card. It's like the same odds in getting it in good condition from these places. And it really sucks, to anticipate, be excited about a card that you got at a really good price, and then it's showing up and it's completely destroyed. So even though some of the prices are so good looking on TCGPlayer and TrollToad, I would rather pay more, a few dollars more, for a card that I know is going to show up in good condition. Last but not least, I want to thank Christopher Box for being my first patron over on patreon.com. He's been supporting me for a while over there. If you want to go over patreon.com/JavaAkuma, we do have the Gem Mint tier. It's $5 a month. It really helps me out a lot. I'm hoping to bring you guys some actual Patreon exclusive content. So I'm no longer streaming on Twitch, so this is the new place in which you guys can support me if you choose to do so. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you on the next video.